Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to be stepping out of our role as passive technology consumers. Those are the people that just blindly tap that accept button on their screen just to make those stupid pop-ups disappear. And you're going to be stepping into the shoes of corporate executives, data compliance officers, and strategists. Now, to go along with today's lecture on IT ethics, you have a high-stakes case study that is due on the discussion board. That's the Privacy Policy Auditor and Ethics Officer. Now, you're going to audit a contract you have already signed. You're going to navigate a massive corporate data crisis, and you're going to tear apart the entire myth of digital consent. Now, this is a 1,000 to 1,500 word assignment. This is your third one, so you should start feeling really comfortable with these, broken down into each of your individual sections. You must paste your text directly into the discussion board text. If you upload a Word document or a PDF into the discussion board, that's a 0 if it doesn't have that pasted text. The system automatically flags it. It will not be graded. It's automatic 0. So paste the text and then attach your screenshots or other requirements of the assignment in there to make sure you get all those points and you can get down to business. Now, for this lecture, we are in this module's lecture and assignments, the books and whatnot. We've discussed things such as Richard Mason's PAPA framework, which is privacy, accuracy, property, and accessibility. So today we're going to be focusing heavily on the privacy and property. Who owns your digital footprint? That's how it ties back into your textbook and your reading. Now, most people think the solution to data privacy is easy. Just give us clearer data privacy laws. Give us more transparency. And see, that is unfortunately sort of a trap. And if you write that in the assignment, you are going to miss the entire point of the first section. See, in part 1 of your assignment, you're going to be watching a TED Talk by a guy named Fred Kate on privacy and consent. Now, Kate has argued that the traditional notice and consent model is fundamentally broken. Think about it. A company gives you a 40-page legalese notice, and you click consent. You don't understand it. You haven't read it. You don't even get it. It's written in a way specifically to confuse you. Who does that contract actually protect? Well, it only protects one entity. It protects the corporation, not you. It gives them legal cover to do whatever they want with your data because you agreed to it. So when you write part 1, don't just justify and say, we need better laws. Listen closely to Kate's lecture. Look for the specific regulatory shift he proposes. He wants you to move from the burden away from the consumer entirely. So pay attention to what his alternative model looks like, because that is what I will be grading you on if you dive into it. So make sure you're going a little bit in depth, and you probably will need to go in and do some research outside this class to complete it. Now let's look at part 2, the fine print audit. Now I've had students to try to use AI tools like chat to generate this section before. Let me just save you the trouble. It will fail in a very noticeable way. AI tools cannot open the specific apps on your phone. They cannot capture unique live experiences. You need to pick a free app You need to pick a free app that you use every single day. This should be a very simple issue. Spotify, TikTok, a weather app, a mobile game, whatever, I don't care. You're going to dig up their official privacy policy. Open up on your computer, hit Control F or Command F if you're on a Mac, and search for 3 words: third party, marketing, or partners. Your job is to find the exact sentence where that company legally grants themselves the right to share and sell, or to sell and share, your personal data. You will copy and paste that exact quote from that discussion or that entity into your discussion post. And crucially, you must take a screenshot of that text in the policy and attach it to your post. No screenshot, no credit. If you use AI tools for this, it will duplicate the same statement for every student that does it. It's almost identical, and so you will get this vague creepypasta that means nothing, and you'll get no screenshot. And so you're automatically counted off, and you'll get yourself a C or D or F because of it. Now, once you find that quote, look for the language. Do they explicitly name their partners? Do they use vague terms like trusted business affiliates? Ask yourself the ultimate business question. Based on the text, are you a customer buying a service, or are you the raw product being sold to advertisers? Either you are the customer or you are the product. And the single rule is pretty much always, if you're not paying for it, you're not the customer. Which brings us to part 3, where we'll be diving in and pivoting into our corporate strategies. This is our real world piece. You're going to pretend, you're no longer the consumer. You're now the director of data strategy for a major commercial airline. Your data science team has built a brilliant, terrifyingly effective big data algorithm called MaxYield. Here is what it does. It tracks a user's browser history via cookies. It checks their device type. If a customer is searching for a flight from a brand new expensive MacBook, and are they searching for an emergency, last minute flight? MaxYield knows that they are desperate and likely wealthy. The algorithm automatically jacks up the ticket price by 20%. This is a real thing. Now, this is completely legal. It's called dynamic pricing, and it's projected to pull in an extra $50 million a year for this company. Your CEO wants to launch it tomorrow morning. Your job is to write an executive risk assessment memo. Now, as a business executive, you cannot just say, no, this feels mean. It's $50 million extra a year. This company expects you to protect the revenue while managing the ethical and brand risk. $50 million, and all corporations are tied to the corporate shareholders. They must generate profit. So there is no saying no to this. There is only statements, facts, and follow-up. You need to construct a compromise. You must establish a strict ethical guardrails policy for this algorithm. Now, I've said 2 things slowly and with punctuation here. Risk assessment memo. So the risk assessment memo is the memo format we'll be using that you'll need to Google, look up, and look at and see how it's formatted. The ethical guardrail policy. You can find examples of this online. Just Google ethical guardrail policy. Find some, mimic them, duplicate it, and come back. You're going to want to know which data points are completely off limits. Is it ethical to charge more based on medical search history? What about bereavement travel or geographic location? Finally, because the public will eventually find out about this algorithm, because they always do, you need to draft a precise professional quote, that's, one sentence for a press release defending the ethical boundaries of your pricing practice. How do you protect the brand when this hits the spotlight? Now, to close out the assignment, you're going to be looking at real world right now. So you need to investigate a major corporate data breach or privacy scandal that happened within the last 6 months. And I do say 6 months because they're always new. You can go in and you can get the big ones, that happened 3 years ago. 6 months. I want you to look past the flashy headlines. I want you to diagnose the root cause. Was it a pure technical failure like a weak encryption or a hacked password? Or was it a structural policy failure? Meaning, was the company hoarding massive amounts of sensitive data users that they didn't even need for their daily business operations just because they could? I want you to connect this breach back to Fred Cato's video. Would you consent, or would a better consent form have saved the users? Or does this breach prove his point that the system is actually broken? And finally, this is a part 5 system, or our 5-part module case study. We're going to look at the creepiness index. Now, creepiness index is my own term. You can probably find it. Other people probably call it that too. Every day we trade privacy for convenience. We let rideshare apps track our live locations because otherwise the car can't find us. We accept that trade-off. But where's your line? I want you to identify one emerging technology, whether it's facial recognition in retail stores, telemetry trackers inside the car's insurance tag, employment, keystroke logging software that completely crosses your personal boundary. I want you to analyze your own threshold. Why is it that specific data tracking unacceptable to you? Why trading your location or music preferences feels perfectly fine. You're happy to give your data over to a massive corporation, but what about over here if it's more localized? I want you to review your submission checklist at the bottom of the assignment for the prompts before you post. Ensure your text is pasted, your quote is exact, and screenshots are attached. So use the concepts in the lecture, think like an auditor, protect your consumer integrity, and build your sound corporate strategies. I look forward to reading your assessments on the discussion board, guys. Just remember, these all tie together. The textbook is your foundation, your vocabulary. The lecture videos are how we build upon that, and the case studies are how we put it into practice. So all these ties back together to make it where you go into the real world, you now have experience with doing all of these things. I have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the case study. I look forward to it. Bye, guys.